when happiness becomes a target. How I turned family, pain into overcoming. I never imagined that a moment of happiness could turn into so much suffering. I was about to become a mother for the first time, and although anxious, I felt immense joy. My life up until then hadn't been easy. I'd grown up working hard and fighting for my place. Marriage to Mauricio brought love and stability, and our simple routine seemed perfect. I taught classes, freelanced at night, and planned every detail of the baby's arrival. I dreamed of a close-knit and loving family, but I didn't realize that hidden jealousy and resentment lurked, ready to explode and transform our joy into pain. Pregnancy brought hope and strength to face everyday life. Decorating the baby's room, planning the shower, and organizing the details kept me busy and happy. I believed that Leticia, Mauricio's niece, had a good relationship with me, but subtle signs of anger or jealousy went unnoticed. Her every smile seemed genuine, every gesture harmless. I focused on the preparations and my dreams of motherhood, believing everything was under control. Life seemed stable, but complete happiness blinds us to hidden tensions. Little did I know that this phase of joy would be abruptly interrupted by actions I could never have foreseen. The baby shower began as I'd dreamed. Laughter, music, loved ones, and thoughtful gifts. My house was decorated, and everyone seemed happy. But halfway through the party, I noticed Leticia walking away with a strange expression. I thought it was boredom, typical of a teenager, until I heard the sound of something falling and screams of shock. I ran and found destroyed toys and clothes. Leticia was crying, but her eyes revealed anger and relief at the same time. My shock was profound, and the joy of the party instantly vanished. That moment marked the beginning of a series of conflicts that would shake our family and test my emotional strength. Paula, Leticia's mother, walked in, and instead of reprimanding her daughter, blamed me. She called me bad for expecting respect and care. I felt intense pain and profound injustice. What was supposed to be a celebration turned into humiliation. I tried to remain calm, but inside, I was shattered. My husband was also shocked and helpless. The party, planned with love, had become a field of tension. For the first time, I realized that not everyone is happy with the happiness of others. Manipulation and envy had brutally revealed themselves, and I had to decide how to react. In the following days, the tension remained. Paula didn't apologize and defended her daughter. Every contact brought anxiety and fear. I felt my life was in emotional danger. Mauricio and I decided to temporarily cut off contact to protect our family. This decision, though painful, was necessary. It was the first lesson I learned about clear boundaries, and it revealed that protecting those we love takes courage. I was emotionally exhausted, but I needed to stand my ground, especially for my soon-to-be daughter. I learned that happiness and security depend on conscious choices, not on the approval of everyone around us. After cutting off contact, the tension remained constant. Every call or message from Paula made me anxious, and I realized that my daughter's manipulation ran deeper than I'd imagined. I felt exhausted, physically and emotionally, and each day required strength to maintain firm boundaries. Mauricio tried to support me, but he was also frustrated and helpless. Reality forced us to understand that not everyone wants our happiness, and that protecting our daughter was a top priority. I learned that clear boundaries are essential, and that overcoming challenges requires tough decisions, courage, and determination to resist external pressures. Cutting contact with Paula brought relief, but also loneliness. I missed family interaction, but I knew it was necessary for our mental health. Every decision required courage and discipline, especially when memories of the ruined party surfaced. It was hard not to feel guilty, but I understood that my daughter's emotional protection and my own stability were more important. This period taught me that we can't please everyone, and that setting boundaries is an act of love. Gradually, I realized that resilience and firmness are essential to maintaining healthy relationships and ensuring emotional security for the family. The birth of my daughter brought joy and responsibility simultaneously. Every cry demanded patience, and every smile reinforced my purpose. However, the shadow of the manipulative family still loomed large, reminding me that happiness can be fragile. I felt fear and anger, but also determination to protect my daughter. I began to realize that the situation wasn't just about Leticia or Paula, but about consciously dealing with emotional manipulation. This learning taught me the importance of patience, empathy, and clear boundaries, as well as strengthening my sense of protection and resilience in the face of complex family conflicts. A few weeks later, João, Leticia's father, came to us alone. He seemed tired, carrying guilt and frustration from years of living with Paula. During our conversation, we discovered the manipulation Leticia was suffering, and everything began to make sense. The girl's anger wasn't just her own, but stemmed from her mother's frustrations and jealousy. This brought clarity to what we were facing. For the first time, we felt hope for rebuilding. I learned that understanding the origin of pain is essential to overcoming it, and that protecting our family requires discernment, empathy, and conscious decisions. This conversation marked the beginning of an emotional transformation. João decided to distance himself from Paula, seeking to provide Leticia with a healthy environment. The change brought hope, but also challenges. We needed to teach boundaries and rebuild trust, both for the teenager and for my daughter. It was a period of intense learning, where I understood that overcoming involves more than enduring pain. It's about rebuilding healthy relationships and protecting those we love. I began to feel proud of what we were building, even amidst deep wounds. Every gesture of care and every firm decision represented our collective strength. The experience showed that resilience and true love go hand in hand, even in the most intense adversity. Even with João away, the emotional pain didn't go away. Memories of the ruined party and Leticia's manipulation flooded back, bringing anxiety and sadness. I would wake up in the middle of the night crying, worried about my daughter and the emotional impact on the teenager. I sought therapy, initially to understand the family situation, but realized I needed to rebuild my own strength. I learned that setting boundaries isn't selfish, but protective. Each session helped me understand my emotions and deal with accumulated frustrations. I discovered that overcoming grief requires self-knowledge and the courage to face pain, even when everything seems impossible. The first few weeks of therapy were exhausting. Reliving every detail of the party and every unfair accusation was painful, but necessary. I learned that tolerating harmful behavior only weakens us. I needed to acknowledge my vulnerability and, at the same time, my inner strength. Every conscious decision, every limit I imposed, helped protect my daughter and strengthen my self-esteem. I understood that facing pain is essential for emotional growth. I began to feel progress, even on days when I wanted to give up. Small steps forward became motivation to keep going. Therapy didn't erase the pain, but it taught me to live with it and transform it into learning and strength. My relationship with Leticia slowly began to change. The teenager still harbored anger and confusion, the result of her mother's manipulation, but showed signs of remorse. I needed to balance patience, empathy, and firmness. Every moment of closeness, every gesture of affection, helped rebuild trust. I realized that overcoming this wasn't just my job. Leticia needed to heal too. Experience showed me that loving someone involves offering support, but without allowing harm. I learned to protect my daughter while helping Leticia find a healthy path. Rebuilding family ties required consistency, understanding, and clear boundaries, as well as a great deal of patience and courage. My daughter was growing rapidly, demanding her undivided attention. Every smile and word reinforced my commitment to creating a safe environment. Family tension still existed, but I learned to balance protection, boundaries, and love. The process of overcoming grief involved accepting that not everyone shares our joys and that we can't always control others. I learned to prioritize my daughter's emotional well-being and safety. Small daily victories, like days of laughter and conflict-free play, showed me we were on the right path. Overcoming doesn't mean erasing pain, but living with awareness, strength, and resilience. Over time, I realized that my view of family needed to change. Blood ties don't guarantee healthy relationships. Respect, empathy, and boundaries are essential. Leticia began to realize the effects of her actions, and our relationship became easier. I felt proud of my own strength and my ability to set limits, protect my daughter, and love firmly. Overcoming obstacles isn't linear or perfect, but each step taken consciously strengthens self-esteem and resilience. I learned that facing intense emotional challenges transforms lives, even if the scars remain, reminding us of our strength and capacity to truly love. My daughter's third birthday was a transformative milestone. For the first time, the party was free from tension, only genuine joy. Leticia was present, participating with care and attention, showing signs of change. I realized that the safe and loving environment we'd created was having an effect. My daughter's happiness brought me peace, reinforcing that our decisions, though difficult, were correct. Finally, I saw concrete fruits of overcoming: clear boundaries, mutual respect, and rebuilt family bonds. It was a moment of silent victory, where the previous pain transformed into learning and hope for a more balanced future. Overcoming grief was a gradual process, with days of progress and days of weakness. Reliving. Painful memories still brought tears, but I learned to cope without losing my emotional balance. Each small step, each gesture of care for my daughter and Leticia, solidified the reconstruction of our family life. Therapy continued to be essential, helping me understand emotions, strengthen resilience, and improve communication. I discovered that confronting the past consciously is essential for growth. The internal transformation was reflected externally: greater confidence, patience, and the ability to deal with challenges. I learned that true love is sustained by boundaries and mutual care. Leticia began to genuinely reach out, showing empathy and responsibility. The teenager who once ruined our party now helped care for her cousin, offering attention and affection. This brought relief and reinforced my confidence in her emotional recovery. I, in turn, felt proud of my firmness and patience, balancing protection, boundaries, and affection. Each step forward was a reason for silent celebration, reminding us that overcoming challenges involves persistence, understanding, and conscious love. The rebuilt family environment allowed us to create positive memories, strengthening bonds and demonstrating that, even after trauma, it's possible to transform pain into learning, trust, and shared happiness. Today, I realize that the experience has profoundly strengthened us. My daughter is growing up safe, surrounded by genuine affection, and Leticia is rebuilding her own confidence and self-esteem. I've learned to recognize my inner strength, value each achievement, and prioritize my family's emotional well-being. The painful past no longer defines our present. It serves as a learning experience. I've understood that overcoming adversity requires patience, persistence, and the courage to set limits and love at the same time. Each challenge we faced has brought us closer and taught lasting lessons about respect, empathy, and protection, showing that rebuilding family relationships is possible even after profound manipulation and betrayal. Overcoming was not instantaneous, but concrete and transformative. I learned to balance protection, love, and boundaries without losing empathy. Our family, although different from the ideal imagined, is healthy, true, and safe. Every step taken, every challenge faced, and every tear shed solidified our resilience and emotional strength. Today, pain transforms into learning, frustrations into strength, and scars remind us of our capacity to endure and love. This journey taught me that rebuilding our lives is possible, even in the midst of profound adversity, and that living with awareness, love, and integrity is the greatest victory we can achieve. I learned that life teaches us through pain and vulnerability. Every tear, every frustration, every feeling of helplessness prepared me to recognize my strength and resilience. Understanding patterns of manipulation and establishing clear boundaries became essential to protecting my daughter and my own sanity. Leticia also needed support to recover from her mother's toxic influence. Together, we rebuilt trust, respect, and affection. Today, I understand that overcoming adversity doesn't mean forgetting the pain, but learning from it, transforming traumatic experiences into learning, emotional balance, and the ability to consciously love and protect. Motherhood was my greatest driving force. Every smile, every loving gesture, and every word from my daughter reminded me of the responsibility of creating a safe and loving environment. I learned that happiness doesn't depend on the approval of others, especially those who don't wish us well. Her joy became fuel for my own emotional recovery, motivating me to maintain boundaries and prioritize our safety and well-being. Daily care and unconditional love strengthened my resilience and emotional awareness. I understood that being a mother also means being the guardian of the family's emotional peace, making difficult decisions with courage and love. Today, I recognize that overcoming grief involves accepting the wounds that remain, without allowing them to define our present or future. Paula remains distant, but she no longer affects our peace. Leticia and João found a safe space with us, rebuilding trust and self-esteem. I understood that trust and love are built, even after traumatic experiences, and that clear boundaries are essential for healthy relationships. Life offers us opportunities for rebirth and growth, and my family has found balance and truth. Learning to overcome trauma transforms us internally, strengthening our ability to face future challenges with serenity, empathy, and emotional awareness. The most valuable lesson I've learned is the importance of self-love. Without it, we can't protect those we love, set boundaries, or rebuild relationships. Looking inward, recognizing our vulnerabilities and strengths, and accepting that we can't control everything or everyone was essential. Valuing each small achievement and each step of daily evolution brought a sense of fulfillment. Even in the face of injustice and manipulation, it's possible to live with integrity and happiness. This learning changed my perspective on relationships and family, making me stronger, more resilient, and more capable of facing future adversities, prioritizing the emotional well-being of everyone we love. Today, I share my story as proof that it is possible to overcome profound emotional challenges. My name is Carolina, and this experience happened a few years ago, during the anticipation of my first baby and intense family conflicts. I learned to set boundaries, protect my daughter, deal with manipulation, and rebuild relationships. Every step taken, every difficulty faced, and every tear shed strengthened our resilience. Our family, though different, is true and secure. Overcoming doesn't mean forgetting, but rebuilding, living, and growing. Pain persists, but awareness, love, and integrity allow us to move forward, transforming scars into learning experiences.